Yesterday, an historian and podcaster called Daryl Cooper wrote a remarkable series of tweets in which he tried to explain why so many Trump voters believe the last election was rigged. Really smart. He crystallized it. We'd like to read some of it now. Quote, "Here are the facts, actual confirmed facts that shape the perspective of Trump voters. The FBI spied on the 2016 Trump campaign using evidence manufactured by the Clinton campaign. We now know that all involved knew it was fake from day one. The voters this was aimed at are Tea Party people, the type who give their kids a pocket constitution for their birthday and have founding fathers memes in their bios. The intel community spying on a presidential campaign using fake evidence, including forged documents, is a big deal to them. Trump supporters know the collusion case front and back. They went from worrying the collusion must be real to suspecting it might be fake to realizing it was a scam, and then watched as every institution, the intel agencies, the press, Congress, academia, gaslit them for another year. In the end," Daryl Cooper writes, "not every theory about election fraud is true, but Trump's voters, quote, are absolutely right that their government is monopolized by a regime that believes they are beneath representation and will observe no limits to keep them getting it." End quote. That is true, and every honest person knows it.
Yeah, that regime absolutely does exist. And in Cooper's thread, one of the things that we kind of skipped over there was a tweet that he put out that I thought was really exemplary, really showed that to be the case. Here it is. GOP propaganda still has many of them thinking in terms of partisan binaries, but a lot of Trump supporters see that the regime is not partisan. They all know that the same institutions would have taken opposite sides if it was a Tulsi Gabbard versus Jeb Bush election. That's the best quote.
Just the image of a Tulsi Gabbard Jeb Bush election. That's a lot of fun to be had right there.
Yeah, that would incite a lot of nightmares into a lot of establishment figures.
Yep.
But just listening to this, when I look at the 2020 election and I look at a lot of the claims that were made, like, about that, you remember that graph where like it's going up and then it spikes. Mm-hmm. Now, ahead of time, we knew that was going to happen. That was clearly not the result of any sort of fraud. And so, when that happened and people said it was, voter fraud, and when a lot of these other conspiracies happened, I started to there was a little bit inside me that was like, a lot of these people are just crackpots. They don't know what they're talking about. But, when I listened to that video and when I read that thread, it really made me realize, no, I should be more suspicious, if anything. Like, these people have been slandered. They've been called conspiracy theorists and the like, and they don't deserve any of that. And, I'm very regretful that I ever did feel that way, even though I still believe that a lot of those ideas about election fraud were conspiracy theories. But, did that video, did that change your guys' opinions of any of these people at all?
For me, I don't think it really did. I found myself kind of the entire time being like, oh, heck yeah, like that's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
So at least in my mind, I was just like, no, he said what people have been talking about for a really long time and put it in a really articulate manner that I think a lot of people could relate to. And I think that's why we saw the clip just go absolutely viral when Tucker read it.
Yeah, I don't know that it changed my mind so much as it ordered it, structured it. One of the things I think was really powerful about this, both the tweet series itself, and there were 34 tweets in this series, by the way. This was a long thread on Twitter. But I think one of the reasons it took off, one of the reasons it got the attention of people like Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump, who's referred to it now, is because not because it illuminated something new, but because it resonated with something so many people already believed. And some of them had been able to articulate that, some of them not. But he just does such a good job in the course of these 34 tweets of saying, here's what people think. And in some cases, that's not backed up. But here are the things that they know, and these things are backed up. Here are the things that we have proof for. Here's Time Magazine saying this thing about election fraud, whatever. And so it's not, it's Twitter. It's not like he's throwing out scientific arguments or a bunch of formula for determining, what fraud looks like and how the votes were changed or anything like that. He's not trying to do that in, whatever it is, 230 characters, 280 characters, whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
I can't remember. But he just summarized so well, like a drumbeat. This happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, then this happened, and it's hard not to be moved by that in some way.